Fáilte Ireland have prepared 2 videos to support you in your HR training for operations. They are new staff induction and fast-tracking skills development, and managing teams and optimising performance. Each video is accompanied with a suite of supporting document resources for you to download and adapt for use within your own business. Everything I step you through is adaptable for any size business, from a large hotel to a small pub or a corner cafe. This is video 1, new staff induction and fast-tracking skills development. The key topics that I will cover are how to set yourself and your team up for success from a new staff induction perspective, how to fast-track and upskill your existing staff, and your role as owners, managers, team leaders in ensuring business success and optimal performance of your team. Over the next while, I will step you through the why, what, and how of induction and upskilling, and offer some top tips to help you execute this for your teams, new and existing. I will provide you with a simple step-by-step approach to how you can effortlessly implement this in your business, regardless of how big or small your company is, by taking you through a simple model based on before, during, and after. Before delving into the detail, let me take a step back and into your shoes, and those of your existing colleagues in the workplace and your new colleagues joining you for the first time. When you think about setting your team up for success and getting ready for the peak season ahead, I've no doubt that you will have many objectives. However, I believe that within those objectives will be to create a brilliant and safe customer experience that's executed through a well-oiled team that play to their strengths. Thinking about new staff joining you for the first time and refreshing existing staff, I have no doubt that there's a level of nervousness and excitement. Your job as an employer, a line manager, or indeed a team leader is to harness this nervous and excited energy and use it to your advantage. What's really critical at this point is that you choose a mindset whereby you believe this team will succeed. Too often, managers adopt a mindset whereby they are trialing the new recruits and will decide in time if they are the right fit. My advice to you at this stage is to have full confidence in your recruitment process and your decision making that helped you choose these colleagues to join your team. While not everybody may be the right fit long term for whatever reason, if you believe that they will be successful and you set them up for success from day one, the outcome is more likely to be a successful one. If you haven't checked out the Fáilte Ireland recruitment webinar and the supporting toolkit, I recommend you do so now, as it will offer many hints and tips to help you build your dream team. When we think about a well-oiled team, we think about a team that are on their game, working to capacity, drawing on the strengths and skills they have. They are supporting each other and having fun along the way so that your customers have the best experience and either return themselves or tell their friends about the great time that they've had. A well-oiled team will be truly satisfied in themselves and connected to your business and what you're trying to achieve. A well-oiled team will always be made up of a mix of experiences in your business. This is exactly what you want. Experience in the way that you do things with seasoned colleagues and fresh perspectives and outlooks from the new recruits. Before delving into the detail of setting yourself up for success with induction and retraining programs, let's have a look at why you would want to induct colleagues in the first place. For many of you across the tourism industry, as you prepare for the season ahead and refreshing your existing team, you might want to consider rolling out your induction plan to existing and new colleagues so that you create a consistent experience for both as they come to work. In addition, if this is something new for you, you are setting the standards that you expect from day one. Everything I step you through today can be used for new starters alone and existing colleagues that might need reminding, or you can bring the two groups together. You can adapt the tools to suit your needs and business. So the first question is why? Why should you do an induction? From a very high level perspective, Your colleagues directly influence and impact your customer experience. We've established that you're striving to create a brilliant and safe customer experience. Therefore, it starts with creating a brilliant and safe colleague experience. Your objective with any training program should be about giving your team the tools to do the best possible job they can, so that your customer experience is exceptional. When they know exactly what's expected of them and they are truly connected to your business, they create a great customer experience. A great customer experience directly impacts your bottom line in terms of repeat business and referral business. An induction program should not be a nice to do, but rather a must do. And the primary things you want to achieve with an induction program include making colleagues feel welcome and wanted, connecting colleagues, creating advocacy, and building a sense of team, setting your standards and professional business tone, providing legislative and mandatory health and safety or food quality training, creating excitement, energy, camaraderie, and fun, and ensuring that you and existing staff recognise the role that they play within your business. For a moment, think about the best customer experience you have ever had and the worst you've ever had. I guarantee you that both experiences will have been impacted by the human interaction you experienced and how that experience was handled. If you think of your poor experience again for a moment and consider the points I've just outlined, I guarantee you that if you ask yourself how well the person was trained in each of these areas, you would conclude could be better. So how do you bring this to life? There are 4 foundation blocks that employers need to concentrate on in order to build a great induction program that's engaging, educational, and fun. Think I.I.T.T. They are introduction, information, training, and tour. Each of these building blocks is like a big bucket. Everything you need to cover can fit into one of these buckets. By sticking with a 4-pronged approach, you can schedule the modules to run over one day, over 2 evenings, or whatever really suits your business. Equally, you can break up the modules with icebreakers, have different managers own and lead each module, and you can inject an element of fun to break up any monotony. Let's have a look at the 4 building blocks in more detail. Let's start with introduction. The introduction module is really key. This is your opportunity to tell all new colleagues and remind existing exactly who you are as a company, what you stand for, what's important, and who the key people are. There is also an opportunity for colleagues to meet each other and to start to build their relationship. In the tools that accompany this video, there are a couple of suggested icebreakers. When colleagues really start to feel a connection to the company, they start to understand the role they play as ambassadors and understand that they are representing the company, their colleagues, and themselves as soon as they walk through the doors. Suggested topics that you should cover include an icebreaker, colleague introductions, who are we as a company and what's important to us, and who are our key people, our values, mission or vision, our customer promise. The purpose is not to overload colleagues with information, but to impart enough that they can retain and use it to help them do the best job every day. The second key area to cover is information. Within this section of an induction program, this is your opportunity to share key information relating to a colleague and to the day-to-day expectations at work. Some of the areas you might want to consider covering could include policies, practices, and procedures, business-specific information such as what are your peak months, weeks, and hours, and does your business look different during these times? How you handle such things as discounts and your policy towards this, group bookings, and how to escalate a customer or a guest complaint. A typical day. What does a day in the life of a colleague by role look like, or what is a typical day in your business? You might have a customer promise or guest FAQs. You may have a customer charter or a 5-point plan that you use when interacting with customers. It's also a great idea to create an FAQ document that deals with the most frequently asked questions by guests. You could use this as an opportunity to create some team interaction. Give the colleagues the questions and ask them to discuss potential answers in pairs. Discuss the actual answers after the exercise and see how colleagues responded. Finally, what is the key colleague information that you want to share? This is your opportunity to download all of the important things in relation to the hygiene factors: roster, buddy system, how you will communicate with them during quiet and busy periods, and at the start and at the end of the shift, such as team huddles or any specific codes or languages. For example, in a particular visitor attraction or a business, a staff call system, whether it's a bleep, a WhatsApp or a public announcement, the call out says code XXX. It means that all available colleagues should move to the specific area to support and guide visitors. This is useful to help manage queues and often customer assistance at times when it's most needed. Also, is there ways you can discreetly apply announcements to staff to move to offer support in an area? For example, the backroom reservations team may be required to assist check-in queues, or available lounge staff to come and assist table clearing and resetting in the breakfast room at peak times, or visitor servicing staff to come to the assistance of the retail or cafe outlet if it is under pressure and they are not actively engaged with customers. Other things that should be included are sharing with the colleagues about the on-the-job training. This is a critical part of tourism and hospitality continuous training and refresher training. It helps ensure consistent standards of performance are maintained by all staff. On-the-job training is one we recommend all line managers, department heads, and senior skilled staff are trained in so that they can provide new staff with help and support in the moment. If you need to invest in on-the-job training skills for your business, then reach out to your local Fulch Ireland contact and ask for advice and assistance in this regard. Likewise, you may also need to address key policies and procedures: absence, break times, smoking rules, personal grooming and hygiene, uniform standards, colleague recognition, time off requests, how to get your payslip, and then any other new starter documentation. You may also have supporting documentation that you want to supply to colleagues in this section of the induction: copies of policies or procedures, the employee handbook, a uniform card with the customer charter, a key list of contacts, the FAQ document. Whatever you have and supply, be really clear why you are giving them this information and your expectation in terms of how they should use it. Ask yourself, do you want them to learn it, keep it safe, reference it with guests, or all of the above? The third area is training. Training can be divided into two areas: mandatory and company specific. Mandatory training such as HACCP and food safety training for food businesses, manual handling, health and safety training, GDPR, first aid and fire safety, or PPE and equipment. The second type of training you may have will be more company specific, such as guest relations and customer service, how to handle difficult situations, upselling and cross-selling skills. With all types of training, putting it into practice is key to remembering and reinforcing it. Consider doing role plays and scene sets to reinforce some of the learning, to make it more fun for the participants. This is a great way to do customer experience training because you emulate the experience the customer may be having and really walk in their shoes. Remember, not all training needs to be classroom style learning covered in induction. If you spend time in advance considering, by role, where and how you need to train your team, you can reduce the amount of classroom learning in favour of on-the-job or buddy training. There's a simple training checklist in the toolkit to help you do this. And once again, if you need to develop on-the-job trainer skills among your management team or your senior staff, contact your local Fulch Ireland representative to direct you in this regard. The fourth and final area is tour. The tour module of an induction programme is all about familiarising your new team and reminding your current team about the full layout of your business from the front door to the back door. You can divide this into two subgroups: colleague areas and customer or guest areas. Let's start with colleague areas. Giving colleagues a guided tour of where they will work is really important. The smallest things matter, such as where do they clock in, where is the locker or changing room, where is the staff canteen or the meeting room. If they bring their lunch, where can they store it? Where can they get a hot drink or a cold drink? Where are the vending machines? And what meal and refreshments they are permitted to have within their contract. The second area is customer or guest areas. And equally as important is having a full awareness and familiarity of guest areas. This serves two purposes: helping them help guests navigate their way to facilities and other areas, and helping them follow instructions in terms of where you need them to go. If your premises is large, you may consider giving colleagues a map so that they have the confidence to direct guests. So putting all of this into practice. As part of the Fáilte Ireland Supports for Business, you will have already encountered the recruitment webinar and the accompanying toolkit. You may have also seen the Managing Teams and Optimising Performance video. If you have not, I recommend you check these out. There are some great tips and advice there too. So when you've recruited your team and are ready to go, consider some of the following steps under 3 headings: before induction, during induction, and after induction. Let's start with before. Preparation is key for setting yourself up for any project or task you take on, and induction is no different. The before phase of any induction, in terms of setting yourself up for success, is the most detailed. Every effort put in here will help you reap the rewards once you get going. So decide what you want to get out of an induction programme. It can be 1 hour or 1 day. Decide who will open. I would suggest a senior manager to set the tone. Assign different segments to different line managers. Create ownership of one small piece for everybody and spread the load. It doesn't become too onerous for anybody then. Build excitement in your team about it. Hold a team meeting and get each person who owns a segment to talk top line about their area. Explain why you are doing this. Consider if you have the volume of people to do induction on a specific day of the week. Everyone starts on the same day and goes through the same experience. Create a buddy system with existing colleagues. They can really help someone settle in and take a lot of the basic questions away from the line manager. Determine who your partners will be for outsourced mandatory training, or will you upskill an internal resource? Decide who will own what segment and ask them to create the content. Decide what materials you need, everything from flip charts, post-its, handbooks, name badges. Create and use the training checklist by role to help you determine exactly how you're going to upskill the team. If line managers are using this checklist and skill matrices with their teams, it helps identify specifically what skills individuals need to work on. There is a cross-training tool in the tools to accompany this video. And finally, create your guest FAQs. Next, we'll move on to during induction. Once you have made all of the decisions in the before stage, it's time to move to what happens during an induction. Assign the buddy people, new with experience or new with new if everybody is new. I'll come back to the buddy system in a moment. Be really clear about the timings and stick with them if you have people coming to deliver each segment. If time is of the essence and it starts to run away, make sure you do all of the important stuff first. Mandatory training and who are we? This will be different for every business. Encourage interaction in the room. Break things up by asking questions all the time. Use icebreakers, quizzes, or slot in a couple of coffee or lunch breaks. The more you do this, the more fun it'll be. If colleagues will go straight to work after induction, agree with their line managers to meet them at the end of the induction to bring them to their new desk or to their new work area. And after. So finally, when you have completed the programme, consider some of the following. Ask yourself and fellow trainers what went well, what didn't go well, and what needs to change. Follow up with everybody in the days that follow to understand how things are going and if they've any questions or feedback on the sessions. If you have a large team, you could do this via the line managers. Encourage your line managers to follow up with colleagues at regular intervals over the coming weeks and use the new starter check-in form to structure some great conversations with colleagues and see how they're progressing. The training checklist can also assist in these conversations. Compile your skills matrix so you know who can do what for future reference. There may be untapped talent in there. For some of you watching today, you will have an established team, and much of what has been covered is more relevant to brand new colleagues. However, this could be a great opportunity to remind and refresh colleagues on your expected standards. You will know what parts will suit or not. I have only 4 short pieces of advice on this group of colleagues. Arrange a team huddle with this group well in advance and be clear about the role you want them to play with new recruits. You may choose to do part of an induction to refresh things with them or include them in the full piece. Appoint them as a buddy for new colleagues. They know your business. Empower them to tell you where you need to be better. Roll out the skills matrix to them so they are clear about what they need. And refresh mandatory training. The buddy system. So throughout today's video, I've referenced a buddy system many times. While some may be familiar, I thought it would be worth spending a couple of minutes stepping you through the makeup, objective, and benefits of a buddy system. As part of the supporting documents, there is a full piece on the buddy system, what it is, and how to implement it, and tips for your chosen buddy on being a great buddy. So what is a buddy system and what is a buddy? A buddy system is an approach whereby you use your existing shining stars to help onboard and train your new recruits in a formal yet more relaxed setting. A buddy partners with your new recruits during his or her first few days and weeks of employment. They are a colleague assigned to assist the new hire to get through the first nerve-wracking time period of being in a new position. They provide insight into the day-to-day activities of the company, and they're there to help the new recruit fit in more quickly. Typically, a buddy would make themselves available to show the new hire around, go over procedures and policies covered during induction, and generally help the new recruit to become more familiar with the company's inner workings and culture. Ideally, a buddy is a great communicator who can easily provide information and encourage the new recruit to express their thoughts and concerns in a safe setting. Your chosen buddy should be the type of employee your company wants to duplicate or clone because of how great they are. When selecting a buddy, it's important to choose an employee who has well-rounded knowledge of your business, its purpose, and its mission and values. It is equally important that they have a positive outlook and are willing to be the face of the organisation. Some additional characteristics to look for when selecting a buddy include someone who has a willingness and an ability to mentor others, has demonstrated strong past performance, has the time to be accessible to new colleagues, is skilled in, has knowledge of the new colleague's job, is a peer of the new colleague, has excellent communication and interpersonal skills, and is well regarded and accepted by current employees. A buddy should epitomise your company values and be familiar enough with the formal and informal organisational structures to be a reliable source of information. Your chosen buddy ambassadors will possess a positive outlook on the company and be able to use their perspective to encourage a sense of pride and loyalty in the new employee. We've covered a lot today. By way of a summary, the 4 key areas of a great induction programme so that you can fast track upskilling of your new and existing teams so that they are ready to delight your customers are introductions, information, training and tour. Planning how you're going to do this before, during and after, and using the tools at your disposal will help you deliver a great experience for customers and for colleagues alike. Did you know that 69% of people are more likely to stay with a company when they have a positive onboarding and induction experience? That's a good reason in my book to put time and effort into inductions. Best of luck, and thanks for watching.